This is the Wait Just an Infosec podcast, your weekly opportunity to tap into the minds of some of the world's foremost cybersecurity experts. Wait Just an Infosec is a weekly show live streamed on SANS.edu social media channels on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. The show features a wide range of guests from across the Infosec community. Whether we're diving into the weeds of the latest data breach or exploring the security implications of groundbreaking technology such as generative AI, each episode brings you new insight to keep you engaged in the industry, feed your fire for knowledge, and amplify your value as an Infosec practitioner. Join the SANS community and gain free access to cutting-edge industry news, cybersecurity resources like technical research, and tools that can't be found elsewhere. Subscribe for free today at SANS.org/join.
Ed Skoudis, president of SANS.edu, joins us as host for another episode of Wait Just an Infosec, this time focusing on the infamous SANS Holiday Hack Challenge, SANS' annual gift to the cybersecurity community. Ed is joined by special guests to share about the history of this free festive cyber challenge, showcasing how this year's challenge is coming together and offering insight from past winners that could put you ahead of the competition to succeed in the 2023 Holiday Hack Challenge.
Our first panel is going to be the player's perspective of Holiday Hack, giving you ideas, tips, tricks, sneak peek of Holiday Hack 2023. And remember, you can go play Holiday Hack 2022, 21, and 20 right now. Also, the music that you're hearing in the show is from past Holiday Hack challenges. So the first panel will be the player's perspective, 3 wonderful players of Holiday Hack. The second panel is going to be the designer's perspective, and the final panel is going to be the artist's perspective. So joining me today, I have Mary Ellen Kennel. Thank you, Mary Ellen. She is a great friend of Holiday Hack and me personally. It's just a delight to see you here. We also have JJ Janusz Jasinski, who is a former Holiday Hack Challenge victor. We'll talk about his victories soon. And then we also have Thomas Buva, also known maybe in the Holiday Hack world more as Crahan. He's joining us too. He has done some of the finest write-ups, and I'd like to ask him some questions about doing those write-ups. So welcome, all 3 of you. It's great to see you here. Before we jump into my questions for you, I'd like to see the results of our poll that we did earlier. And we had some folks, interact with us in the channel and mention some additional things. So check this out, Thomas and Mary Ellen and JJ. People said community. That's really my favorite piece of it. You can go into the game and see other players and chat with them and post things on Discord and such. Learning something new, again, one of my favorite things. Distraction, yeah, that's good. The avatar hats last year, that was a special edition that was actually, all those hats were created by Evan Booth, who's going to be coming up in our designers panel, the next one. Santa Claus is always a good time. Learning, hacking it, learning and networking, the real feel of the holidays. Thank you for that. It means a lot to all of us. Building skills, learn stuff in an enjoyable manner. Togetherness. I mean, really, this is, we call it SANS gift to the industry, right? To the community. The music is always fun. We appreciate that. We're going to have 2 of the musicians coming up. Actually, we have one of the musicians here. Mary Ellen Kennel recorded one of my favorite Holiday Hack songs of all time. I Wish I Could Be Santa Claus. I tear up every time I hear it. And the depth of the theme. Well, thank you for that. We do work hard on it. The whole team, there's probably 30 or 40 people that work on this thing. And community. Yeah, so there it is. Community was the most often mentioned one. So we do appreciate that. And speaking of community, we are joined, I was looking through the comments here. There are people from New Jersey here, which is great. There are people from London, people from Bahrain, people from Maryland. We've got some guests here joining us from San Francisco, Italy, Virginia. Just awesome. So thank you. Somebody did ask, I'll just address this question really quickly. Somebody says, where do the storylines come from? And the answer, of course, is they come from the North Pole. Santa Claus taps me on the shoulder, whispers in my ear and says, here's what's going on this year. So there's the absolute true answer to that question. And it is great to see you here. Somebody says, I don't see a QR code. Well, there's a QR code right there. So you can scan that. That's just a respond in Slido. But let's go ahead and bring everybody back to our full screen. And I have some questions for you. So Mary Ellen, you have long been a friend of Holiday Hack Challenge. Tell us about some of your experience playing the game. And I think you play as a family too. I'd love to hear some more about that.
Yeah, well, one of the best years that we had together playing as a family was there was a year we were all together with the extended family in San Diego. And we were playing, it was the year, it wasn't that long ago, it was the year where we had the cloud world, when you had to go up into the clouds.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that was the year where there was a challenge that involved the lock on a car, the type of car that like 4 or 5 digits that you have to, enter correctly.
Yep.
And my father-in-law is a mathematician, very, like a PhD. And so, we were kind of stuck, some of us, and then we got him involved. And it was just like, we've never had a year where the extended family, grandparents and everyone played together. And that was, for me, I still think about that as, one of the highlights of playing the game. It brought our family together, which was really special.
I love that. One of my favorite things every year is people will send me photos of their kids playing Holiday Hack, maybe under the holiday tree or something like that, and the adults are there hacking away at stuff, and the kids are retrieving assets in games. Now, you could play solo. A lot of people just play solo, and that's totally fine. But we do like this sort of family feel. Or you could play as friends. I also know there's companies that will set up Holiday Hack parties. I believe you've got some experience with that too, Mary Ellen. While we're talking to Mary Ellen, why don't you tell us a little bit about that? And then also, you do this big community FAQ about Holiday Hack every year. It's not official, but that said, we all refer to it, right? So tell us about what you've done in hosting Holiday Hack parties and the FAQ.
I do. Thank you. Yeah. Well, there was a year right before the pandemic, I believe. We wanted to do another one, and then the pandemic hit. But we had the company that I was working for had this beautiful panoramic view of Manhattan. They had a room at the very top of the building that they let us use. And so we threw a live hacking SANS Holiday Hack Party. And Ed surprised us and joined. I had no idea he was going to drive all the way straight from SANS DC, SANS Fire, straight to Manhattan, and got there in time. It was one of the biggest moments of my life that I remember that was really special. But to that end, the other thing that I do every year after playing all these years is, I like to give back to the community. I try to do that in a lot of different ways. And one of the ways is I figured I have all these sort of tips that I've, accumulated over the years of playing, certain things that you they're not really, it's not like they're huge giveaways, but there are a lot of things. It's like 9 pages of tips that I've put together from playing over the years, and I share it out and I call it my cheat sheet or whatever. But it's things, for example, like going to Ed's website and finding out, meet the team, who works on his team. He's hired some new people. And then you find out where they post on, where their blogs are, where their feeds are for social media. So, and I put all of that together so that you can follow them. And, from anything basically that Josh Wright or Chris Elgie, members of his team, anything they blog about basically from, November, December on, could very well show up as a part of the game, like a technology that you're going to need to know for the game. And so it's just a cheat sheet of all those types of tips over the years of playing that I've come up with.
And how can people find it? Should they just do a search for Holiday Hack FAQ or something like that? That'll probably turn it up.
Yeah, pretty much. If you follow me on social media, I'm already working on this year's already, and I'm going to post maybe something out maybe this weekend. We'll see. But it's usually just a bit.ly link, and I usually have it either on my blog or on my Twitter feed. So.
Thank you for all you do for the community, Mary Ellen. Sure. Really, we appreciate you. You're a dear, dear person. Speaking of dear, dear people, let's talk to JJ next. JJ, you hail from the UK, I believe. Is that correct?
I do, yeah.
Yep. And believe it or not, you've won Holiday Hack a time or two over the last decade or so. Can you tell us what it's like to win? And I think you earned both the creative prize one year and also the grand prize another year. So tell us about that, how you approached it, what you did, and what it felt like when you won.
It was relief. I say that because I spend a lot of time with my family, usually, but obviously doing a SANS Holiday Hack, I had to dedicate some time to hacking. So when my name was announced as the best creative in 2015, it was a huge relief. Also planted the seed in my head. Actually, I could possibly take this further. So 2016, I won grand prize, and to this day, I remember your voice booming over everyone else's and trying to pronounce my name, hence everyone calling me JJ nowadays. Saying like, you've won grand prize. I couldn't believe it. My kids were asking me what's happened, Daddy, what have you won? So I had to explain to them, and they got really interested, which for me was awesome. It's the best thing. And also, I think I forgot about the fact there was a literal prize at the end of it. I was just really thankful that someone's recognized the work I did. And that was awesome. And a few years later, I actually won Best Creative again, but as a team. And that put a whole different perspective on it, how you actually collaborate and learn off each other and teach someone else, something new.
That's so good. People ask me, can I play as a solo? Can I play as a team? How big are teams? Where's the leaderboard? You can play however you want to play. You can play solo. You can have a team of 2, a team of 10, a team of 40. It doesn't matter. We don't do a leaderboard because we want everybody to just play and learn and have fun and collaborate. I mean, the rules are enjoy yourself and build your skills, and don't attack the game. Don't bring the game down. So thank you, JJ. That's really, really useful. Hey, Thomas, one of the things that I really like about your involvement with Holiday Hack every year is your tremendous write-ups. And I know you spend a lot of time thinking about how to structure the write-ups. For those that don't know, there's no leaderboard, but you do get points as you work your way through. You complete challenges, you solve these various challenges, and you can kind of see how you're doing in the game. We don't want it to be like super hyper competitive, though, where everybody's trying to step on everybody else. So you kind of know where you are in the game, and you can solve challenges and tell people in Discord that you have done. So you can even help people in Discord or get help from them. That's totally cool. But one of the things that Thomas does in his alter ego as Crahan is he does these beautiful write-ups. He gives away templates for people to do write-ups. And also he helps a lot of people in Discord. So Thomas, tell us about that, please.
Well, my reports are a little bit my labor of love at this point, right? I think my first time I played was in 2018. And at the time I was like, first-time player, trying to figure it out. So I looked at reports that came out from the previous years and kind of based what I wanted to do based on what they did before me. But then as we progressed and we went into the next kind of years, I kind of find my own vibe. I found my own vibe with what I wanted to do with my reporting. I kind of stuck with that. And I felt like it worked well. People gave me some positive feedback on those. And I tried to make them a little bit more like my own, by adding some graphics and some parody movie posters so they were kind of recognizable. But yeah, I mean, it's at this point, it's like the highlight of my year, right? Preparing for that, like getting ready in September, October, getting the templates done, prepping everything for that. It's been awesome. Yeah.
That's so good. Thank you for that. And as you know, we do post all of the winning entries from the various years so people can go in and read your great work. And I'm happy to see that available. I'd like to ask several questions now of kind of everybody here. Maybe we'll just go in the same order. Mary Ellen goes first, then JJ, then Thomas. Here, short form answers though, if you could. But I know there's some people who think, well, I don't play CTFs, or maybe they're a little intimidated by a CTF. And Holiday Hack is fundamentally a capture the flag event, but it's structured and organized in a way that's very approachable, very friendly, and sort of with this community feel. So what would you say, Mary Ellen, then JJ, then Thomas, about people who don't want to do it or feel scared or intimidated by it? How would you respond to them?
Well, I mean, not to self-promote, but hey, pick up my cheat sheet because it's really for the noobs. It's everything, all the basic stuff about what you really want to know and how to play and, just sort of step, A to Z. And I will say this, that, if you do play competitively a little bit, this is the year to play because we have now 2 of the most feared players are now behind the scenes and they are exempt from playing, and they're right here, JJ and Crahan.
How about that?
And they are now helping to build the challenges so they cannot play this year. So this is the year to play, to win.
There you go. Yep. Thomas and JJ both joined the team here. So they're working with the SANS and CounterHack teams. We're super excited to have them there. Well said, Mary Ellen. Now is the year to compete, especially to win it, because we've taken JJ and Thomas out. Well, I mean, now they're building it. So let's go to JJ next. If somebody doesn't want to play this, how do you change their mind?
So I was that person you described. I was very intimidated by it all because I had a developer background for 20 years, nothing to do with cybersecurity. So if you want to use an example of someone who can succeed in the game, that was probably me from no background. I'd just say go for it. You've got literally nothing to lose. At worst, you can do a pseudonym to whatever name you want, go online. You literally got nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Right. Perfect. So do it, and it's free. It's entirely free. It's one of the people commented saying, in our chat here, saying the best part they like about it is it's free, which is cool. Thomas, what are your thoughts?
I will say no pressure at all. Don't feel any pressure. You're basically just playing for yourself primarily, right? Just try to get into it. And it starts at a low level. It starts really, really simple. If you're not familiar with Infosec or cybersecurity or anything, it guides you, it helps you, and it progresses you through more complex challenges. And if you're stuck, there's an awesome community behind it where you can find help. And people are more than willing to help you.
And the elves are promiscuous with their hints. So
very.
Yeah. So Easter eggs. There's Easter eggs in the game. Can you tell me your favorite Easter egg, Mary Ellen?
I think it's Jason. Every year, Jason Blanchard shows up somewhere. That's pretty much it.
Yep. So this started many years ago. One of my team members put a little avatar of Jason Blanchard in the team back when he was working with SANS. Now he's over at Black Hills. And every year he appears as some obscure object. He's been a tooth. He's been a nail. He's been a dead canary. He's been a toilet flush handle. We're working on it this year. JJ, favorite Easter egg?
Instead of robots.txt, there was a humans.txt, which pointed you to a punch card, which is almost like a challenge itself. But through that, I got speaking to Clay Moody on social media, and that was a nice connection I made with him over it. Yeah, that's from cool. Memories.
Humans.txt, because humans got to read something, right? Yeah. Thomas, your favorite Easter egg?
The WebSocket messages. Oh, hi, Mark. And what was the other one? Dennis Nedry's from Jurassic Park. Those are awesome. When I found those, that was kind of funny. I love
we
that.
Try to put storyline stuff in there. Hey, I got one more question. I'll just go to Mary Ellen with this because we're running out of time for this panel. Tell us about career and resume building via Holiday Hack Challenge.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this myself. Because I actually, I did place a few years, and it's on my LinkedIn, it's on my resume. But even if you don't place, there's a place for this on your resume, and you can write up the challenges, how you solved the challenges, even if you didn't win. And you can create a link to that and put that on your resume. I mean, personally, when I'm looking at people that I'm considering bringing on board to hire, it means as much to me if they have something like I solved, I placed or whatever in this CTF as a cert. It really does. It depends on the hiring manager, but for me, it holds a lot of weight. If you can show me your write-ups and that you competed and how you solved these, very, very helpful.
Well said. That is so good. And also, we do read through every submitted entry, and we have honorable mentions if you do a good job. We have super honorable mentions. We have different levels of winners and such. And I've seen on resumes that come to me, honorable mentions, super honorable mentions, and more. And then, JJ and Thomas, as JJ said here in the chat, they're walking, talking examples of HHC on their because they joined the team here. We hired them because of the great work they did. Oh, and Mary Ellen, I hear your song in the background. I wish. Such a beautiful song. All these songs are available for free. You can look in the various streaming services. And also, if you go to the SANS.org/holiday hack site, you can hear the songs. What a beautiful song. Thank you for giving us that, Mary Ellen. And hey, thank you all for being on this panel. We appreciate it. It's time for us to move to our next panel, the developers panel. So let's go ahead and bring in our developer friends. All right, there they are. Let me introduce the folks in this order. We are joined here by Evan Booth, who does amazing things for Holiday Hack. He's been with the team since, let's see, I got a list here, since 2016. So thank you for all your great development work. And that is a splendid hat. Just love the hat. We're also joined by Eric Persley, who just joined the team about a year ago now. We're coming up on 1 year anniversary and has done amazing things in Holiday Hack. Can't wait to hear your thoughts and perspectives. You jumped on board and hit the ground running in Holiday Hack. And then really sort of our jack of all trades, somebody who does almost every aspect of Holiday Hack is Chris Elgie, and also has great taste in t-shirts. So Chris joins us as well. So, hey, let's engage. So these are examples of the people that build the Holiday Hack Challenge and working on it for many, many years. Evan, what the heck do you do when it comes to Holiday Hack Challenge?
So I designed and built the multiplayer engine that allows the players to meet up in the browser and hop around, chat, and solve challenges, and ultimately to save Christmas. In addition to that, I build the world out every year, so a lot of the creative elements of that and the graphics that support that, that's on my plate. And yeah, that's probably it. Well, I mean, I usually contribute maybe a challenge or two as well.
And the challenges you contribute are both beautiful and intriguing, very different kinds of game dynamics and such. What you do for Holiday Hack is absolutely instrumental. I mean, think about it. Hey, could you build me a game that supports 20,000 people, is super stable, is fun, and then Evan does a lot of the artistry and such too in it, laying it all out. It's really incredible. Can't wait to see in a couple of weeks where you're going to show us all the dazzling game effects you're putting together for this year.
I'm stoked.
Awesome. Next, we'll move to Eric Persley. So, Eric, tell us about your involvement with Holiday Hack. You've been on the team for a year. What did you do in HHC 2022? And we'll talk about 2023 in a bit too.
Yeah. So I don't have a storied history like the rest of the folks on the call here, but
you do. You're writing your story now.
True. Yes, my story is starting right now. But yeah, so when I was a prospective counter hack hire, at the end of our interview, I had asked, what can I do to prepare myself to join the team? And Ed said, play Holiday Hack Challenge. So I was like, wow, that's a good sign for for this team. So my Holiday Hack Challenge journey, I guess, started with playing 2021, and then for Holiday Hack 2022, I had joined the team right at the beginning of Holiday Hack Challenge creation season. So a lot of the challenges were already kind of planned out and laid out and assigned to people and stuff. So when I came on, I primarily wrote the majority of the dialogue, including all of Grincham's character development, who was the main antagonist. And then I worked closely with Ed on a lot of the story beats.
You did great. I mean, because I back in the old days, I used to do most of the dialogue. Then Josh started helping out, Josh Wright. And then Chris Alge really picked up a big part of that. And then you jumped in this year and you were writing Grincham stuff like a boss. It was just awesome. And
yeah, I had a lot of fun.
And people can play that right now if you want to go figure out what is this Grincham thing. He was the adversary in Holiday Hack 2022, and they can play right now. So you did. I was really impressed. And you also kind of pinged me in October and said, "Hey, you had some ideas for Holiday Hack 2023. You want to tell me about that before we get to Mr. LG?"
Sure. So yeah, I was heavily inspired by something that Evan had put into 2022, and then also. Last year was kind of a different perspective than the normal, like as in terms of like the camera angle and that. And so that inspired me, like, what's something different that we could do for this year? And then also there was a little bit of a play on words for the, the 12 Days of Christmas theme that we have going on. So all those things together, kind of came together for this, this grand idea that I had, and I explained to Ed, and he loved it, and it somehow just kind of worked with the ideas that he already had for the story and the setting. So I'm really excited for players to see it.
Let's be explicit about it. Let's put it out there. So yeah. Eric, if you've played Holiday Hack, you know that we did this KringleCon thing, KringleCon 2, and then KringleCon 3 was French Hens, KringleCon 4 Calling Birds, KringleCon 5 Golden Rings. So KringleCon 6 should be Geese a-Layin', right? And then one of the game dynamics that people seem to really like that Evan put in the game last year was this underwater boat thing that sailed around. So Eric personally kind of put those in his head and said, okay, what can we do? And came up with the idea of, hey, why don't we have, instead of at the North Pole, we'll move to a set of islands in the sea and do some stuff with that. And I was thinking about the adversary in the game and how the adversary is going to interact with things. And it's like, hey, your idea is very different than mine, but I think we can fit them together. So there was that aspect to it. And then why don't you say the play on words? What if you've got 5 golden rings? What comes next?
All right. So next is six geese a laying, and I was like, laying eggs. That's not very cool or interesting, So I was like laying, and then I came up with like a Hawaiian lay, and that inspired the island theme, and sailing around in warmer weather. So yeah.
So you sail to these islands, and the geese on each the goose on each island will give you a Hawaiian lay. So there's 6 geese a laying. Brilliant.
Yeah, magic lays.
There
They're
go.
magic.
Chris LG, hey, what the heck do you do with Holiday Hack? What don't you do?
Yeah, I have the great pleasure to be able to do a little bit of everything, like you said, and that's from challenge development to sometimes I work a little bit on music. I'll either work on art or get my kids to do the art for me, and even some like project management stuff, just to kind of keep track of things and make sure we're all headed in one direction.
Super important. Super important. Hey, here's a question for each of you, sort of short, rapid fire thing. How exhausted are you in the run up to release? We'll start with Evan.
Okay, so this has changed over the years. This is our 6th year using the engine, and these things they take a little time to polish. So nowadays I'm a lot less tired because I'm chasing down fewer showstopper bugs. So
I'm trapped in a wall and I can't get out. Remember that one? Yeah. You're doing great. The work you're doing.
Thanks.
Awesome. Eric, are you exhausted when we launch?
So it may be because it's my first year working on it. I was more excited than anything. I think I was having a lot of fun because I'm an avid gamer myself, and it kind of it feels like designing a video game because it essentially is. It's just a cybersecurity video game basically. So I was having a ton of fun with it. I would stay up late, 8-10 p.m. just writing dialogue or like thinking of ideas. And I guess some people would see that as exhausting, but when you enjoy what you do, I don't know. It didn't feel exhausting.
I love it. Thank you. That's great. We'll work you harder. Challenge accepted. Chris LG, what do you think?
Yeah, so like JJ and Thomas, I've moved from being a player to being a developer. So it kind of shifts the crunch period, where it used to be from launch until closing was my crunch period, and now it's the time leading up to launch. But in both cases, I've found I can make it a little easier to digest for the family when I involve them. So I used to involve the kids in playing and creating the report, and now I get to involve them in creating whatever it is, sound effects or art.
Yeah, I love that your kids make some of the art for it. That was really cool. Last year in the I forget what we called the character, but the mirror challenge. Yeah.
Yep.
That was cool.
Yeah, the fountain. Yep.
I'd like to hear, and anybody can jump up on this one, whoever wants to go first, but talk about the teamwork to get this thing out the door. Who wants to take that one? All right, LG, why don't you take that one?
Yeah.
But you help corral the team, so.
Yeah, it's really neat. If you think about a project of this size, there are so many inputs into it, and there has to be so much coordination to make it all work. Where someone has an idea of a challenge of a skill they want to teach and test in the game, and someone has an idea of an aesthetic or storyline piece, and what it ends up being is this kind of cyclic thing where we all just kind of keep feeding off each other's ideas and building things together to get to that final product. But I kind of wonder if there are players who play and think that from day one there's this whole plan of exactly how it's going to look, and that it couldn't be further from the truth.
It is improvisational art. I mean, it's really incredible. Hey, Evan, I got a question for you. Do you ever get like writer's block? I mean, maybe not in developing code, or maybe in your challenges. I mean, this fountain of ideas that you have, does it ever get stopped up?
Not so much. And I think the reason for that is because I work with a ton of creative folks, of course, and there's a lot of inputs into, I guess, the final product here. So you got the overarching story and those beats, and then in addition to that, you've got the way that each challenge interacts with the world that I'm building, and so there's always a little piece to break off and work on. And so I don't struggle with that too much for Holiday Hack, fortunately.
That's cool. Good. All right, let me ask one question of each of you. And I think we have enough time for each of you to answer in somewhat depth, a minute or so each. This is a hard question, but I did tell you it was coming. If you could do one thing to make Holiday Hack better for our players or the team developing it, what would it be?
I think that's easy for me. I would love to see stronger support for mobile.
Yeah. People say, well, that should be easy. You know, you just, if you write it in HTML5, everything works on the phone. It's like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. Right.
I mean, that part of it is pretty easy. The issue
But
comes
the
in
interaction, it's the game dynamic.
Yeah, and also that you're actually sitting down in a virtual terminal in the game, and that's hard to layer on top of an already complex game engine.
I mean, we're trying to simulate certain aspects of cybersecurity professionals. All these different things, and you do that on your phone. Maybe you do little pieces of it, but you're not going to get too in depth. So it's hard to simulate that. And yeah,
that's tricky.
Yeah, but maybe. On and then so while you're out and about. Yeah, cool. Thank you, Evan. Eric Persley, what do you think?
So within the first 5 minutes of playing Holiday Hack Challenge in 2021, I had an idea. I realized something was missing, and so I brought the idea to Evan and the rest of the team, and it was something that Evan was already thinking about actually putting into the game. So I kind of have a little background in it, and I don't want to give too much away because I'm really interested to see how players will react when they realize what's what it is. But it will be built into 2023, and players will notice it from the very first step they take.
It's going to be awesome. I'm super excited. Chris Elgie, if you could do one thing to make the game better, make the whole experience better, what would it be?
I keep thinking about Mary Ellen's Holiday Hack Party and what a wonderful way that is to bring people together. I'd love to see more people doing things like that collaboratively, and I think the whole game gets better when there are more people, because there's more interaction in Discord, there are more people hopping around the world, and that it gives more people opportunities to connect and learn. So I guess just more, Ed. My answer is more. More.
MOAR. Yes. Hey, thanks for participating on this panel. What you folks do is just so wonderful, and really, I realize you put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of hours. We push you really hard. I'm thankful for it. I know this community is thankful, and can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks in New Jersey when we're working on Holiday Hack. And I wish you the best in getting this next one out the door. Second week of December. Thank you. Appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Nice hat, Evan. All right. Now we are up to our third and final panel. This one is very special. Some of you may have heard Chris Elgie talk before. Some of you may have heard, say, Crahan, or maybe you talked to him in Discord. But we've never done a panel like this. We've never had these folks publicly speaking about their involvement with Holiday Hack. I'd like to bring in our next panel. This is our artists panel. And this is super exciting here. We are joined by three of the artists. There's actually about a dozen or more artists that contribute to Holiday Hack, but these are three of the most prolific artists doing that. We have Becky Howard from the SANS Institute, and Becky did all the amazing promotion and marketing displays. She came up with, if you remember Holiday Hack 2022, that little green arm that's reaching to pull at the rings. It was all her concept. She did the coin this year, which I can show you this side of the coin. That's Becky's creation. I can't show you the other side. Nope, can't see it because there's a cipher on it. Becky did all of our swag in the swag store. Amazing. We are also joined by Josh Skoudis, no relation. Some people call him my son. But we deny it. No, that's my boy. He's done amazing work. I turn to him when I'm looking for things that are a little more guitar heavy, a little more edgy, and a lot of the vocals. He has 3 or more bands at any given time. He's done music for Holiday Hack for, 5-6 years. And then we have one of the people who's been with Holiday Hack the longest, and that is Jules, better known as Ninjala. I go to Ninjala with all kinds of stuff. And sometimes I'm very specific. Hey, Jules, I need you to create something that sounds just like this. And it comes up and it's better than I can imagine. And sometimes I'll go to Jules like, I got no idea. Can you do something with, I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas? And he comes back and it's like Strawberry Fields Forever with hippopotamuses dancing in my brain. It's like, where did you come up? It's amazing. So these are amazing people. And I've got some questions for you. Maybe we start with Becky, okay?
Sure.
Becky, how do you do it? Where do you come up with your ideas? What's the process for your creative involvement with Holiday Hack specifically, or even more generically?
I think my involvement is quite unusual because I'm not necessarily building the game and I don't know exactly what's going to happen. So I think my job is to try and come up with something that's really exciting and in line with what I think the game is going to be, but then keep it flexible enough so that whatever Easter egg or really fun thing gets kind of dropped on my desk is like, oh, did you know we're doing this? And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, right, let's pivot the branding for the campaign to make sure we can include everything. So that's kind of my main aim, is to make sure it's not niche enough to exclude anything that can happen in this game, because you just never know what's going to turn up. So that's definitely one of my main priorities. We have an amazing team. I've got Chloe and Colton who help me, and we just love brainstorming and collaborating, and just there's no bad ideas, I think, with Holiday Hack Challenge, which I love. And it's just it's a great one to be a part of. So yeah, we love it from a process point of view. It's really, really fun.
And I think last year was your first year,
Mm-hmm.
and you really upped our reach. You and your whole team. We're super thankful. Can't wait to see what you come up with this year. Maybe we'll have some sneak previews, teasing stuff coming up in a bit.
I think so.
Let's move to Josh. Josh, where do you come up with your ideas? What's the process? How does that work?
I mean, a lot of times, you'll come to me and, give me some sort of elements of the story. I remember all the Cindy Lou Who, the Doctor Who, the whatever else Who. And I'll try to take a lot of the quirkiness and kind of weirdness of the story, of the character design, and try to implement that into the stuff I do, especially with some of the newer ones. Last year was my favorite batch of music, at least on my end. Burning Ring of Fire is my favorite song I've done for Holiday Hack.
Yeah.
To make it really video gamey and fun and silly. It's a great opportunity, especially for the hair metal adjacent stuff, because I don't get to play that often with my band. So it gives me an outlet. I love that kind of music, so having an opportunity to play it is really great.
And I think that's what really makes you folks special is, we hit you up with all these ideas that are disparate and weird and goofy and sometimes don't even make sense. And you weave them into beautiful graphic art, Becky does, or Josh, into this music that is fun and interesting and well done. And then there's Jules. Jules, tell us, answer that. How do you come up with your ideas? What's your process? You take stuff and just, the way you riff on it, and you come up with such crazy stuff, and it's so beautiful. How do you do it?
Well, firstly, thank you. That's such an interesting question, because I don't know if I really have one way or another, right? Like, you usually come to me with like, hey, I want this song, but Christmas. And it's like, oh, okay, all right. So, I'll usually find that song and plink around on the piano, and then just like try to add Christmas to it, right? Which is, bells, or no, I mean, not just bells. I'm kidding. But there's the process for me is always sort of like backwards and forwards and backwards. So I'll be, the August or July, I'll be like, okay, I got to think of Christmas. Okay, Christmas, and then we start thinking about the song, and we start moving forward. It's a hard question, man, because every one of your requests is so fun and so very different that it really is, one song at a time. Really.
Yeah.
It really is.
And I realize the question is somewhat unfair. It's like you walk up to a tree and say, how do you grow? You walk up to an artist and say, how do you create? I don't know. It just happens, right? It's almost like magic, isn't it?
Yeah. A lot of it, that's always been sort of my mantra of making music in a general sense, is that, I actually went to, Full Sail for recording years and years ago. And regardless of their programming, regardless of their good things and their bad things, one of the best things that I took away from there that I really use a lot in my creative process is, if it sounds good, it's right.
Yeah.
Right. So, it doesn't matter if it's the wrong way, the wrong way people do something, because music is, like a lot of art, it is very much about how people like interpret it and take it.
Yeah.
And so
That's
it
awesome.
Sounds good. It's right.
It does. And sometimes you'll send me something and I'm like, I love it out of the gate. It's like, this is so amazing. Like the hippopotamus one. And other times you'll send me one and it takes me a little bit to understand the vision. It was Jangle Bells back in 2016. When I first heard it, I thought, that's okay. It's now one of my favorites. It took me about 3 or 4 listens to say, I see his vision. I understand how this fits into the game world. Yeah, you do great stuff. So question for each of you. I think Josh addressed this a little bit, but you can revisit it, Josh, if you'd like. Maybe we'll start with Becky. What is your favorite thing that you've created for the Holiday Hack Challenge? So Becky?
So last year was my first sort of taking the whole campaign, and I saw a lot of it, whereas prior years, obviously, I'd seen little bits and pieces. So I think last year, the highlight for me was probably the apron.
Yes.
I just loved it. It was one of those things like Jules said, like you just do it once and you're like, oh my God, I love it. Like
that was your idea. It was your idea. Why don't we do an apron? And I'm like, done. Let's make it so
random. But it was just on the system, it opens your options up to lots of different things. So I was like, you know what? I think my dad would like an apron. So I was like, right, I'll do it. And I did it once and I loved it. So I think for me, that really stood out. The coin is obviously really up there for me too. Yeah. So that illustration that worked on a lot of stuff. Yeah, it was really fun.
It really did. Gosh. So the apron, that's a good answer. I like that. I didn't expect that one coming, but it does. Oh, and we do have a swag store where you can go and buy an apron or t-shirts or hoodies and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Jules, what's the favorite thing? How many songs have you generated for us? I mean, created.
I was like, right. Like I was like, oh my goodness, I need to look right now. Right. It's been so many, I don't remember them.
Yeah.
I have very fond memories of the first holiday hack I did with you guys, which was all kind of like, was it 2016?
Steampunk, yeah.
Electro swing. Like that, like electro swing stuff. I have lots of great memories about that stuff. And then last year, I really enjoyed the challenge of Somewhere Over the Rainbow with Mary Ellen, and I also you asked me to do, it was some EDM song. What was that called? Boy, I am the best interview, right? I can remember all my songs, right? No, but it was like that EDM song, and we would call it Christmas Crazy.
Oh yes,
really.
Oh my gosh, I didn't expect much out of it, but it was based on a Sophie Tucker song. We can't say the name of it, but BS Crazy, right? Right. And I was like, Jules, see what you can do with this. And then Jules came up with this thing, and it was like amazing. And I started playing it for my friends. They love it. Christmas Crazy. It's amazing. Josh, no relation. Do you have any further thoughts on your favorite creation that you've done?
Yeah, I mean, for my favorite one, it is kind of hard because I do love the I Love Winter Snow. That one was really, really fun to make. Most of my favorite ones, though, the I Love Winter Snow and the Burning Ring of Fire I mentioned earlier, most of them I really had no idea what to do or how to instantiate any sort of idea that I had. It's actually funny, for the Burning Ring of Fire, I believe it was actually the night of my sister's wedding. I realized that I had like a deadline. I really needed to get this song, and I'm always super last minute. I'm really appreciative of this man above me who is not my father, who's a but I'm so glad he works with my procrastination. But remember, I probably finished that song at like 4:00 in the morning, and I just got on my computer, and it just came so quickly that that sort of a post-wedding delirium, I guess, really got me. I had a bunch of Mario coin sound effects. I spent about 40 minutes getting that Johnny Cash sample, right in that one spot. And that was just such a good time for me.
So good. Thank you. One more question for each of you. You got 1 minute or less each. You're all artists, right? Holiday Hack is not your main gig. What other artistic endeavors do you participate in? Let's do Becky first.
Well, I came up with the branding for the launching of this show, Wait Just an Infosec.
How about that?
Yeah. So it's my first time on the show, so I'm actually really excited because of that. But I mean, we work on so much, like campaigns, product launches, there's so much that's kind of in the system. So I think it's hard to pick on a couple of things, but Holiday Hack is always the most exciting. And the fact that it's annual as well, you kind of know it's coming, and each year it starts earlier and earlier. Yes. Which is a good thing, I think. I love having enough time to plan. So yeah, definitely. There's a few things in the pipeline for us.
You do great work for SANS. Hey, Jules, how about you?
Oh, the question is, what else do I do? Because I do a lot of things. I do a lot of stuff in the dance music community, a lot of EDM type stuff. I'm a DJ. I was supposed to close out DEF CON this year, then it got canceled.
Yeah.
That's a lot of music, man, and I am so thankful and so proud to be able to do this with you guys every year.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I listen to Ninjala music just in my normal life, not just Ninjala Holiday Hack, but he's on all the major streaming services, just amazing albums and extended plays and stuff like that. Really, if you don't have Jules Ninjala in your feed, you should have that. Oh, and I hear our closing music. So Josh, what else do you do for your artistic endeavors? You're a busy young man.
For my artistic endeavors, I'm in a band called Gabagool. We're from New Jersey, so it seems appropriate. I play drums in another band called Public Access. I'm doing some other stuff, starting a few new projects. But I do a lot of booking for this venue in New Brunswick called The Crypt. Get bands from all over the United States, which is really fun. And that's about it. But I got to say, Holiday Hack is one of my favorites of those.
Oh, that's great to hear.
To really work on. So.
And another thing I love is how Josh, no relation, and Jules, also no relation, you collaborate together, and you've never seen each other before, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah.
It is. First time.
How cool is this?
I'm going to be honest with you. I was kind of picturing you with a fedora and a large mustache. I don't know why.
Yeah, we'll do the chops, right? And
yeah, that works. It's a good look.
I gotta confess, the whole reason I want to do this show is to introduce you to each other. So and Becky, I wanted to get you on the show because you're just awesome. So with that, thank you, folks. I appreciate the artist perspective. And that's going to bring us toward an end of our show here. I'd like to thank the Wait Just an Infosec folks for hosting us on this platform, for letting us kind of take over and talk Holiday Hack. And remember, I don't want you sitting there thinking, oh, that's December, second week of December. You can go play now. Play Holiday Hack 2022, 2021. All the answers are available for you. Go to SANS.org/Holiday Hack. We got 3 full years of it. You could build your cybersecurity skills all for free. Really high quality range with all of the answers. Just have fun. And I would like to close by not only thanking the Wait Just an Infosec team, but also all of our panelists. I mean, we've had 9 folks on the panel. They were all fantastic. So I want to applaud for you. My hat is off to you. You have no idea how hot these hats get. Santa knows what he's doing up at the North Pole. But this year, second week of December, look for Santa Claus. He'll be in the Pacific Ocean on a series of islands. And thank you all.
Thank you for listening to the Wait Just an Infosec podcast. Remember to join us live every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern for a new episode of Wait Just an Infosec. You can watch at SANS.org/WJAI or go to the SANS LinkedIn or YouTube channels. The Wait Just an Infosec podcast will be released every Wednesday at noon. Thanks for listening. See you next week.